feel like sometimes my last name should be controversy. I love it when things are stirred up. I find it rather boring when everything in hip hop is just floating through and nice and smooth. So every now and then, man, I'm gonna do something to probably stir it up a little bit.
So let the games begin. These other rappers so far behind, they can taste my win.
For multi-platinum hip-hop star Jayceon Taylor, controversy and drama have been a constant part of both life and business. Feared and even more fearless, the tattooed rapper rose up from gang-ridden Compton, California, and childhood tragedy to become a world-renowned rapper. And in an industry where the toughest rappers with the most street cred can still see big paydays, Taylor has made a killing, no pun intended.
What? You want to finish it? You want to finish it right here?
His latest public altercation involved him beating another rapper down with one hand while taping it with his iPhone in the other. He posted a video of the beating on the internet, thrusting himself once again into the hip-hop spotlight, just in time for the release of his 5th album, Jesus Piece, and the premiere of his own reality show on VH1.
You don't do anything. What do you do?
When asked about the example he's setting for younger fans, he notes that he's never been the antagonist of conflicts.
When you get in these high-profile feuds, it's got to be stressful, though, because at some point, if these guys are taking you seriously, which I think in many cases they are, you've always got to be looking over your shoulder to some extent, but at the same time, it makes you more relevant. Would you say that?
I would say that that's a good theory.
Okay.
You know, a good theory, and you know, you're educated. I respect you. I respect your theory. What I would say is that I grew up in one of the most dangerous cities in the history of America. When gang violence was at its peak, I've also lost 2 brothers, you know, to gang violence, and I've been shot several times. Went into a coma and woke up. Never once did I look over my shoulder. I'm a straightforward guy, you know? Whatever's behind me is behind me, and whatever happens behind me, but I'm just always been, you know, one track and straightforward, man.
Since Big ain't here, I'm about to do it for Tiana and put roses on the grave of Kanye's mama.
But people who work with and truly know Taylor say there are other dimensions to Taylor that have often gone unnoticed. He's very charismatic with a wry sense of humor, and he says in recent years he's tried to refrain from taking himself so seriously. As a businessman, he has yet to break through to the level of some of the rappers who are celebrated as entrepreneurs, like Jay-Z, Sean Diddy Combs, and his former friend and now nemesis, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. Taylor's handlers have a plan to change that. Dontay Kid, the game's childhood friend and manager, is known among rap circles as Taydoe. He says he's focused on helping the game diversify far beyond the music industry.
All right, so my goal for the game in the future in 5 years is to become a mogul, because I know he has it. We've been all over the world, not only in the US, but I mean, we've been to the UK, Europe, Australia, New Zealand, Africa, all these places, and I see the love that everyone has for him.
So there's going to be more coming. That was one of the questions everybody was asking.
LA radio personality and producer DJ Ski worked on some of the game's most celebrated albums. He says the game, with a young family and several years already in the fast lane, has all the characteristics to go mainstream.
He's kind of matured now, you know, he's at a different point in his life. He's, you know, evolved, and I think it's just him showcasing that to the rest of the world. Like, you know, he was thrown into the game, no pun intended, you know, at a young age in the middle of G-Unit, 50 Cent, and, you know, beefs and dramas and all that, and skyrocketed to the top of the charts, you know, without anything, and just has always had a personality where he didn't care and just did that. And now I think, you know, as he's evolved, he's learned lessons and things from what he's done right and what he's done wrong.
And there's plenty of money to be made in the mainstream hustle. The late hip-hop artist manager Chris Lighty came on this show last year and discussed the profitable art of taking rappers more to the center, namely his flagship artist, 50 Cent.
10 years ago, you would have said, we're gonna sell water, I would have laughed at you. But now I'm like, we're gonna sell water, we're gonna do an energy shot, and we're gonna do it in timing, and we're gonna try and feed 1 billion kids. And, you know, we're gonna take a gangster rapper who got shot 9 times and turn him into the hip hop boner.
But even if he never crosses over as successfully as a select few of the other West Coast rappers have, compared to where he started, Jayceon Taylor long ago blew past any conventional definition of success. Born in Compton, he never expected he would live so long.
It was more just surviving, you know what I'm saying? I mean, in the streets of Compton, we saw a lot of different things, good and bad, mostly bad, honestly. People getting killed right in front of our eyes, right on our blocks. And as kids, you know, being nosy. I remember at one point, a real hot summer day, I'm at my house, he's at home. I didn't know he was at home, but I'm outside just in the front yard. I hear 2 gunshots. I'm like, damn, I hear a car screech, you know, the tire screech. I run out in the middle of the street being a nosy kid. I was about 10 years old. Run out in the middle of the street and look down, and I see a car crashed into another car, like right in front of Jay's house. So I look down there, so I call him. We didn't have cell phones then, so I run in the house and call him on his house phone. He's like, yeah, I'm up here playing Bill Walsh College football on my Sega Genesis. I'm like, did you hear that? He's like, yeah, I heard something. I didn't see nothing though. I said, look out the window. His room was like an attic, so he could see down. So he looked down, he's like, man, they right in front of my house. Come down here. So I ran down there, and we looking, and the police and ambulance came. It was 2 guys shot. It was 2 shots in the back of the window. Both of the shots hit the back of their heads. Wow. Both of them. So one guy was leaned over, his eye was caught in the door thing, and we're just looking at it and seeing that, and it was like surreal because obviously Boys in the Hood was something that we watched the movie, and we saw those type of things, but it wasn't as real until we see it.
How old were you at that time?
Probably about 10.
By the time they hit their late teenage years, the game and Taydoe had taken different paths.
Well, my plan was going to college. His plan that I thought he was going to do was graduate from high school and go to college to play basketball. And I think that was his plan too. But I think from his life experiences and stuff, all that stuff congested and just combined really affected him, and he had to go another way. And at the time, that's who showed him love and showed him that direction to get money.
The Bloods.
The Bloods, yeah, okay. And his brother. As I would come back home on the weekends and stuff, I'm seeing a change. I'm seeing like, you know, a lot of red he's wearing. I'm seeing, you know, just a mentality change, and I'm seeing, you know, he's got some money and stuff. So I saw this, I started putting the pieces together. I'm like, he's with his brother.
He didn't tell you what he was
doing. No, he didn't tell me. He didn't just say, hey man, I'm selling. You know what I'm saying? We got the drug house.
Approve.
Yeah, he knew I wasn't for that. That wasn't my thing. At that point, you know, I'm in college, he's doing his thing. You know, I couldn't tell him that. Only thing I would tell him, dog, is be careful.
Over time, his name started blowing up on the West Coast and started to move east.
We went to, it was a Super Bowl in San Diego. He knew I was Mr. San Diego, that was my second home, and I knew everybody. He was like, man, the Super Bowl out there, let's go out there. I'm like, yeah, Fabulous, and you know, 50 and G-Unit and all them have a concert out there too, and my boy is helping promote it. We can go to that. He was like, yeah, we could do that because I got the CD that me and 50 did a song. So we go around to the artist entrance. A limo was pulling up right at the time, and the window goes down, and it's Busta Rhymes and Spliff. So Busta Rhymes was like, gang, what's up, son? Busta and Spliff hops out the car, walks with us. I mean, energetic about game. And I'm like, damn. So we go up further. Fabulous was right there. Fabulous, what's up? He knew game. Telling everybody, like, this is the next kid that's about to blow. This kid is from the West Coast, but has the East Coast flow, and his lyrics are crazy. I'm like just absorbing all that in. Then next thing you know, 50 and G-Unit and stuff was about to perform. We're sitting on side of the stage. 50's rapping and stuff like that. He sees Game and myself, told the security to bring us up on stage. And I'm like, man, this like, all this stuff is just happening.
50 Cent. He eventually found success, both as a solo artist and a member of the notorious group, the G-Unit. His rift with 50 Cent eventually separated the two, but it didn't stop either one of them from pursuing commercial success. Now he's living the family life he never had growing up, proving that he's more complex and multidimensional than is presented to the public. He's got 3 kids, and he's engaged to Tiffany Cambridge, who happens to be a school teacher. This is all being shown on the reality show.
So for the reality show meeting, what I did was I had my camera crew shoot just a day in the life of Game and his family.
So you showed the footage and they liked it?
They loved it, man. I mean, they saw that footage and saw, you know, the different element of Game and this stuff and how the family was just so camera ready. It was amazing. We got out of the meeting. About an hour later, I got a phone call and said they want to do this.
Now he's hoping to enjoy similar success with his new album.
So now you're on your 5th album. A lot of people don't make it in the business that long. What did you learn from Dr. Dre and the guys that came before you that helped you stay in the game this long?
I learned that if you just alter, the face of what is your music career in its current state a little bit, then you'll have longevity. Meaning, if you stay the same way your entire career, of course, that'll wear down. And as hip hop changes and you don't, then people will evolve, out, around and outside of you, and you'll fall by the wayside. And then their attention will, shift to whoever this is over here, new and fresh. So as hip hop has changed and hip hop has many faces, I've sort of been a chameleon to it and just blended in where needed to keep myself afloat. And I think I did a pretty good job at that, 4 #1 albums. This one will be number 5, depending on, if Elvis ain't dropping on the same day as me, then I think I got it in the bag.
Now he's attempting to achieve a certain balance. One example is how he handled the publicity around his run-in with 40 Glock. The Game said he was angered by a webpage that mentioned his son.
Said something about me. He made a Twitter page of my son called The Game Son Twitter page. You can do whatever you want to me, rap about me, shoot me, kill me, stab me. It doesn't matter. You talk about my kids, and it's like that's when it gets really real. So I told myself one day when I caught him. When I caught up to him, I was going to address it. And one day, man, I just, I woke up, at my house, and, one of my friends had a pool party. Went over to the pool party. Looky here. My Jiminy Cricket told me, this is the guy that likes to put people on video. Where's your iPhone, gang? I started padding, took my iPhone out, put the unlock code in, went to the photos, switched it from photo to video, all this while he's down. This is, it's not an easy task pulling out your iPhone, getting it to record something in the middle of a fight, but I got it off. He got up and I did my thing, and, that last right hook sent him into a tree, and that was the end of 40 Glock in his career.
You did tape it, even though you knew that it could ultimately be used against you in a lawsuit, but you've been sued. Cool. People love to sue you for some reason.
Yeah.
Why didn't that concern you?
Number one, it was a battle that was being fought, on the foundation that, he talked about my kids. Number two, I didn't think that, I didn't think that he was going to sue. That's the thing with rappers is that, if you sue, your rap career is done because that, that disintegrates your street cred, right? So I thought that this is one of the most street guys ever in hip hop, right? Says his mouth, and the internet. So I didn't think that he would sue. Then one day, one of my boys called me. He's like, yo, man, like somebody served papers at the house. And I'm like, well, who was it from? He's like, Lawrence White. I'm like, who is Lawrence White? So I just Googled Lawrence White, and then up comes a picture of 40 Glock. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is what we're dealing with. So, I get my lawyers, and, we'll go. And all he probably wants is, a couple grand or something, and, my money is pretty like knee long, if you can understand that. So we'll take care of that. We'll dress it accordingly, and we'll get out of there.
He knows that the cost of settling a lawsuit with the victim is outweighed by the longevity he gets from keeping his street cred.
I mean, he's definitely a controversial rapper, and that's how he started his career with beefs and things like that.
But he sees the connection to business.
Oh no, he definitely sees the connection to business. However, some of the things that he do, I may be opposed to. Some of the attention that he gives others, I may be opposed to. However, we're all human. I've been knowing Jay for a long time, and I understand, that he's not going to back down from anyone. I understand that if he feels a certain way, he's going to speak his mind. That can be a marketing tool. We know that in the news, if you're in the news, whether it's positive or negative, you're still in the news.
For all the conflict between the Game and other rappers, his beef with his former friend 50 Cent is the hardest to understand. To be at such odds, they seem to have so much in common. Both determined and fearless and brilliant marketers. All factors that made G-Unit hard to beat when the Game and 50 were on the same team.
He definitely is a marketing genius in his way. He loves like the whole diss rap. Like not even just 50, if anybody would say anything or even look the other way that he didn't like, he'd rap about it because he's great at that. And it's entertainment at the end of the day. Like the biggest things that people want to hear is drama and beef, no matter what it is, whether there's a fight or anything like that. That's all the views online and all that.
You can spend all day on YouTube
Seriously,
watching
yes.
these dramas and these beefs play out.
Absolutely. So people love that stuff, and he bought into it. And he's a great, one of the most talented, musicians I've been in the studio with ever in terms of, just rap ability and stuff. So he knew how to play it, and he also had like a lighter side, like almost a comical side too. If you listen to some of the mixtapes that we did, his skits and other stuff, he'd say it, but you didn't feel like it was, it was gangster rap and all that, but at the same time, it was almost funny and in different the ways he'd do it. He was able to pull it off with a smirk, almost like his personality, where you'd be scared and intimidated, and yeah, that's there, but at the same time, laugh and funny and personality. He's able to walk between those worlds.
Taydoe says he's proud of what both the game and 50 Cent were able to accomplish as individual marketing machines, but he's working every day to try to get their old group, the G Unit, to resolve its differences. Getting G Unit back together would be a huge boost for the rap genre, and it would give G Unit members yet another opportunity to cash in.
I can't say it'll happen, I can't say it won't happen. However, from a business perspective, I'm gonna attempt to make that happen.
You're gonna make that happen?
I'm gonna attempt to make that happen. And I think it'll be a wise business move on both parts.
You would make millions.
Oh, ridiculous. I'm thinking about tours, I'm thinking about merchandising, I'm thinking about all these other things that lacking in the industry, and this is the perfect timing for that.
How open is the game to maybe doing it?
I think, honestly, I can't really speak for 50, but I think they're both open. It's just a matter of approaching it the right way. You know what I'm saying? 50 understands that he needs Game to make a G Unit push. Game understands that if it's going to be a push, he needs to be involved, and 50 needs to be involved. Therefore, they both are business savvy. We know that 50 is a businessman. We know that Game's a businessman. They understand that. So now it's only their internal egos that would stop that from happening.
With his net worth placed at $6 million in 2009 by Forbes magazine, a G Unit reunion and a flurry of endorsement deals could be just what the game needs to ascend to the next level of riches. He's had a deal with cell phone company Boost Mobile, a clothing line with Skechers, and also with Kangol, and acted in movies and in video games. But even at this level, the game's young, hard-earned wealth has come with significant challenges.
You have people around you and you think that really are cool with you and that they genuinely are your friend. And then you start to see, people fall off, not want to be your friend because you don't want to loan them this amount of money or because they're jealous that it wasn't them that made it. So it got pretty weird in the beginning, man, and it wasn't really cool. Hurt my feelings, in the early stages. I almost lost one of my brothers due to it, due to money and just, power struggle. That relationship was recently mended, but it's kind of crazy how that happens.
Now that he's surpassed that point, the question now is, can the game become the next rapper to transition to the level of mogul?
Like, if me and you switched outfits, I could take your outfit and I can walk into a boardroom and seal a deal just as quickly or easily.
You wouldn't need my
can.
outfit to do it. I'm sure you do it. You already do it.
I have done it. I've done it already. But your outfit is cool, man. I like your outfit. You know what I'm saying? One day I'm gonna have me a closet full of outfits like yours, man. I promise. I've done a good job since the beginning, early stages of my career with, allowing people in my life to sort of just, understand who I was and who I was about.
Like, after you accomplish enough, I'm already a billionaire compared to where I come from. I don't generally see things that I can't have. Like, it's an option. Like, when I look at home and exquisite living, it was just a choice.